The only thing I know about Mina Kimes, and I don't really follow Mina Kimes unless when she throws up an idiotic lie about us here at OutKick, or she says something about the Colts that's so dramatically stupid that it makes me say, okay, if she's this dumb on the Colts, she must be this dumb on every team. But they are running, ladies and gentlemen. They're not standing up for themselves and proving that they are worthy of our attention and jobs and the money they have all made. Oh, no. Twitter be mean to me. Like my daughter used to say, Daddy, Andrew, my son, be mean to me. And I say, Andrew, don't be mean to Laura. We be mean to all the typical gas bags. The sports media leaning left, they're leaving. They're leaving for Blue Sky because they lost the election. We all know how this goes. It's become a place for the political left to feel a safe space, a warm blankie, a nice teddy, a coloring book, and a puzzle. Well, so long to all of you. Hasta la vista, baby. Arrivederci. La noche. Adios. Avida. Get the f*** out. Now, our airwaves on X probably will still be polluted by them because no rational group of people is going to go to something called Blue Sky where liberals actually have a voice. We've had and heard the voice of liberals. What are we doing? We're in World War III, inflation through the roof, interest rates insane, immigration nuts. But guess what? The American public said, screw you, voted these clowns out. Thus, voted the liberal media, a.k.a. Mina Kimes, who said, and I'm quoting here, oh, man, Tim Walz has the kind of masculinity that I like. You imagine being her husband? Peyronie's disease isn't bad because at least you can, but take some pills. It helps. I ain't lying. But honest to God, Tim Walz has the kind of masculinity that I'm attracted to. What? Huh? He's got the kind of, I'm not going to say it. It's too easy. All right. Blue Sky welcomes such luminaries, such leftist ranting D-bag DEI hires as Mina Kimes, Sarah Spain, Pablo Torre, Rachel Nichols, and someone named Danny Kelly. I don't know who Danny Kelly is, but I know the others, and they suck. Every single one of them. Whenever Rachel Nichols used to give an interview, we used to talk about it on our show because it always like so giggly. Hi, Giannis. Can I peek? Anyway, suddenly, just after the 2024 election, what a shocker. Kimes, who's the leader of the Cool Kids Club, really, I think she is. Pablo Torre is too because, Anyway, Kimes posted on Blue Sky celebrating the fact, yay, that she receives less criticism for being untalented. See, here's my problem with these people. They're all untalented. They were all given jobs, literally given jobs at ESPN, and they were so bad at those jobs that ESPN had to keep them for an amount of time. And as soon as that amount of time was like, yo, it's safe here to get rid of these dumbasses, they got rid of them quick. Don't blame them. You got to do what you got to do in business, but it hasn't really helped ESPN or certainly not helped Disney stock. Looking at the replies on an app and not seeing porn bots or people calling me DEI, she said on Tuesday. Good for her. I mean, you are what you are. I mean, I don't know what you know about football. I know you know nothing about the football team that I cover. So I would assume you know nothing about any of these football teams, but you do say the cool kid words. I'm going to take questions now. Go. QB1 in the house. Got it. This you? Oh, Mina, you clever little minx when you're not lying about, everything, particularly OutKick. We're still waiting here at OutKick for Mina to share what OutKick, quote, wrote about her that had her family under attack for racist comments, feeling unsafe, Mina was. She, of course, lied about it. Clay went back and looked. But these are the people. You got one of them that put the big floppies on the table and said, I will go on a date with anybody that'll take me to the Super Bowl, and then wrote a song saying, I want to F Steve Button. Of course, later on, it was all in good fun. Pablo Torre, I don't know what he is. I don't know. I assume I really don't know. I've never seen him. I've seen him, but I've never seen him on TV and gone, huh, interesting. No. Awful announcing, little Benny Koo. Little Benny Koo is a Silicon Valley investor. I think he made some money. He's from Columbus. And everything liberal is, well, it makes Benny happy. And Benny runs the site. Benny, and awful announcing, predictably celebrated it. Yeah, it's easy to take the plunge when the platform that once served as a journalist's ideal tool has become actively antagonistic towards them. Really? Try sitting with me one day. The current owner of Twitter has absolute contempt for journalism and journalists. Really? Huh. You know, that's a common thing, but what I see is the opposite. I see journalists on here that are actual journalists thriving. I do. I'm not a journalist. Frankly, I'm an entertainer / journalist. As Seth Greenberg and I always said, if we want to break every single thing going on in college basketball, we could. If I wanted to break everything going on with the Colts, I could. I usually do. But anyway, I find it to be fun. These people, as I said, they can't stand being disagreed with. Oh, how they hate it. You must listen to me because I am a woman. And they told me I have this job. See, they haven't dealt with being in the public eye since being 17, like most of us have. Certainly I have, where people are always critical of you, and you learn what's real. Some days you just get mad and you fight back. Other days you don't even pay attention. They haven't learned that because they were kind of, smart kids that people paid attention to, but not really. Then all of a sudden, like politicians, their popularity grew, and they don't know how to handle it. They think Mina Kimes does, Sarah Spain does, Rachel Nichols does, whoever Danny, whatever his face is, certainly Pablo Torre, Dan Lebitard, and all the other idiots from the left side of ESPN, if there's such a thing. But anyway, they all think that as they got this little bit of notoriety, that meant their word was gospel. It's not. That's why you see so many politicians getting in trouble for the sex. Now, seriously, it's the first time these little dorks had anybody paying attention to them. And they didn't know how to handle it. I've been handling it since, junior year in high school when I committed to Indiana, and then the state swarmed on me. I get it. It's hard. It ain't easy. But here you go. Oh, the current owner of Twitter has where has any of these journalists really delved in for Elon Musk not to have contempt? Like, who out there that pays attention to the news and what has been told of us doesn't have contempt for journalism and journalists? Like, if you paid attention in this election, both sides, you must have contempt for journalism and journalists. I would ask the people that teach journalism at Indiana University, do you not at all ever teach thought? Do you not at all ever to teach why? To look at facts, not feelings? To look at ideas, actual ideas in policy? Not party? Do you not? Is it not something you do? Anyway, we all have contempt for journalists and journalism. All right, because of that, the site has been re-engineered in a way that is to our detriment or certainly is not to our benefit in the way that a previous version of Twitter once was. Well, it came out that Twitter was used for suppression and censorship. Well, that should be a good thing if you're a journalist. See, this is why I don't like anybody in the print media except for very few. Why? Because they're full of shit. If you are an actual journalist and you have been taught to think, you embrace what's going on now in Twitter because the censorship has been exposed, kicked out. The fat has been trimmed. But boy, it pisses you off, doesn't it? Because it's not going your way. So a site that gets mad when lefties get called out is championing lefties who got called out to leave. Good. See, if you're a real journalist, you want that. Like, I'm not a real journalist, but I want that. Actually, I'm probably more of a real journalist than any of the people we just talked about or any people you read or see on the online edition of whatever newspaper you read. Because I just read both sides, come on here, talk about it, and we go. No, it's amazing. It is amazing. It has contempt, really. Meg Linehan. Oh, hi, Maggie. The Athletic told Awful announcing that the election was a last straw for her to leave. Really? That's sad. I mean, come on, Meg. We want your voice. You're an important voice. I don't know who the hell you are, but you're an important voice. Honestly, I should have done it earlier, but the election was a last straw sort of situation. Well, that's good. It had stopped being a major traffic driver anyway. Right. But as I was in a cycle of dreading opening the app. Well, Meg, how about you sack the hell up? How about you grow a pair? How about you become a real journalist? Like the journalist that, well, I don't know. It's me. Hi, it's me, Meg Linehan. And she looks exactly like what you would think. No, she does. Exactly like what you would think. It's just so hard. I mean, it's me, Meg. Hi, Meg. Meg. Aw. Meg says, all done here. Same username on Instagram. You can find me other places too via my site. Aw. Meg. Don't go. It's me. It's Meg. Hi, Meg. Jackass. It had stopped being a major traffic driver. Really? Because you write shit. Because you write lies. Of course it is. You think all of a sudden you're going to get any more traffic at some lesser site writing the bullshit that you write? Of course not. What are we doing? It had become it had stopped being a major traffic driver, but I was in a cycle of dreading opening the app and looking at my notifications even before last week. Mostly, I think I'll be on Instagram. Thank you, Meg. Golly, we're so happy. Which obviously has a different feel and purpose. But Bluesky has surprised me this week. I wish Threads was better, but the algorithm feels anti-ethical to real-time sports discussion or coverage. There is not one single thing about sports that this woman could tell you about. Not one. Zero. Zip. Nada. So she could talk about real-time sports. There is nothing. I mean, maybe she could tell me to Conj, but there is nothing. So adios to all you. Hasta la vista. Avida Saint. Basically, just get the fuck out. While the NBA will not air on TNT after this season, 2024-25, inside the NBA appears to have been saved. Thank goodness. As a long-running and extremely popular studio show will be produced by Warner Brothers Discovery and aired on ESPN, NNN, and ABC. See, ESPN getting smart. McAfee airs his own stuff. That's right. Now, inside the NBA is going to air its own stuff. That's smart stuff. That's good stuff. That's great stuff. Now, hopefully they don't add Stephen A. Smith to it to F it up, but they probably will. If I were Charles Barkley and them, I'd say, look, we're going to do it, but we ain't having Stephen A. Smith. And all them little girls you all put on there, Chimichanga, who looked like a complete idiot the other day. In fact, we were watching it. I think it was in a bar. I forget where we were. And she was talking, and the three women are like, what is this idiot wearing, and what is she doing? You got three NBA guys there, and Chimichanga's doing all the talking, dancing around in some yellow thing looking like a clown. I mean, if I'm Barkley and I'm Kenny and I'm Shaq and I'm Ernie, I'm like, yo, we're doing our thing. You leave the female DEI NBA reporters out. No. Ain't no Stephen A. coming. Legs wants to come. He's one of you all good. But we ain't having it. No. No. Hell no. Separately, Warner Brothers Discovery struck a deal with Disney to license, this is what they did with McAfee, the TNT show inside the NBA to ESPN and ABC starting next season, according to people familiar with the matter. Flint, some dude, reported the show, which features former players Barkley and Shaq. What? Kenny Smith's a former player, you idiot. Anyway, awful announcing sucks. They don't even know Kenny Smith used to play. How stupid are they? He is a world champion a couple times over. Show, which features former players Charles Barkley, Shaquille O'Neal, has an enthusiastic and large following. The show will air throughout the course of the season. The Inside the NBA hosts have joked about the show's lame duck status through the early weeks of the NBA season. Now that the show is coming back, it'll be interesting what is said when the next Inside the NBA airs. Who wrote this dribble? Like, what is this, a 10-year-old? Hey, Slick, you got to write an essay, and it needs to be 1,000 words. So I can see some idiot at Awful Announcing sitting there counting the words. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, okay, now put in the show, which features. What is wrong with you people? I mean, no wonder this thing is going south. We like to make fun of it, like I do. Like, I don't really read it. I just read it when we're here. But it is fun to make fun of. No, it is. They're not better than making fun of Awful Announcing or the DEI hires at ESPN and other places. They're good comedy. They're great comedy. Here's a Twitter reaction, and here's, well, Pistol Rick saying what I've said. I swear, if the asshats at ESPN try to force Stephen A. onto this, I will, oh boy, January 6th, that studio. You mean you wear a Viking hat? Take a shot at Pelosi's desk? What? That seems weird. That does. But the facts of the matter are the sentiment is accurate. Ain't nobody needs any more Stephen A. F. Smith yelling and screaming and cussing and acting like he's some badass. He's an idiot. And we don't need it. Keep Charles, Sir Charles, Kenny, Shaq, and, of course, Ernie. You could lose Shaq for all I care. Why would you want him? You don't need him. Ain't crazy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. In my world, it's Ohio State week. It's the first time in my lifetime, and I've been going to Indiana games since 1973. I was 10 years old. Now, I've been going to Indiana games that long, well, because, frankly, I don't know, I went to school there. My mom went to school there. My brother went to my sister. I mean, what the hell? We went to games. I was there 17 years as a player and an employee, and, frankly, I went to every home game. Why? Because I liked it. I used to, true story, I would carry my son on one of these backpack things, and me and the current baseball coach at Michigan, Tracy Smith, he was assistant baseball coach, we used to sneak beers in our kids' stuff. True story. They would sit up in the corner with our wives. The kids would run around. No one was ever at the game. And drink beers all afternoon. It was a good day. Yeah, it was. I'm not sure it represented the basketball or baseball program. He was assistant baseball coach. But that's what we used to do. I ain't mad about it. I mean, stop it. All right, let's see it, baby. Let's see who voted for whom. I actually changed my number one because I'm an honest guy. Here is the top 12. Oregon, number one. Texas, Miami, or Colorado. See, I had Colorado in there before everybody. Well, our first four are the first-round buys. They're the people that got the bye. So the winner of the Big Ten, the SEC, the ACC, and the Big 12 get a bye. There you are. By the way, hey, you say whatever you want, but we told you. We told you after that Nebraska football game, second half, that Colorado was damn good. Ohio State 5, Indiana 6. They play this weekend. Alabama 7, Georgia 8. Kirby Smart ain't happy. Penn State 9. Notre Dame is about as hot as anybody playing bad teams. Ole Miss, and then Boise is the, whatever they call it, the team of 5 or whatever, automatic entry. So there's 7 at-large bids. Well, here's the bracket if it were today. There you go. Let's have a look. I like this. Oh, I ain't mad at this. I'll take Indiana's chances in the Rock Memorial Stadium against Ole Miss, and then you get to play Miami. That beats the dog out of the 10-7, or actually what you really want is the 5-12 game. But I'll take the 6-11 game. I don't want Georgia. I mean, hell, if you're Georgia, you got to beat Penn State, and then you got to beat Oregon. Yeah, well, Penn State has to beat Georgia. Yeah, they ain't doing it. Hey, let's see how everybody voted. Do we have that up? I want to make fun of some people. I don't think Les Miles thinks very much of Indiana. Can we make that a little bit? Yeah, there you go. Les Miles upper right. He don't even have the Hoosiers in there. Nothing. Maybe he's smarter than everybody. See, last week, I'm second left, on the left, just below Clay. I had Indiana 1 last week, but I got to tell you, I'm fair. I'm impartial. I pay attention. Look. Oregon went into a very hepped-up Wisconsin. Very hepped. That place was jumping, no pun intended. And they got out of there with a win. I don't give a damn how you get out of there, but getting out of there with a win is pretty damn good. Indiana does not have that good of a win. They don't. Not like that. I know that Wisconsin just fired their offensive coordinator. I know that Wisconsin hadn't been very good, but I don't care. That's a tough place to win. They got a good coach. and going in there and getting that done. All right, so everybody's got Oregon except for Les Miles. He's got Texas. Basically, it's either Oregon. Look at Clay. Clay's SEC bias is showing. What are you talking about? Tennessee's in there. What? Alabama's in there. Ole Miss is in there. I don't know. Colorado, you got to go Colorado 4, but I'm putting them ahead of Miami. I have no bias. I don't. My bias is for meat. Always has been, always will be. Will Kane? See, Will and I are kindred spirits. He don't have no bias. He got him number 2, Texas. He could have him number 1 if he had bias. What are you going to do? It's all good. The one interesting thing, and I don't understand this, Will Kane has Boise State in there with a bye. What? What are you, crazy? Stop it. I don't know how you can do that. Can you do that? Maybe you can, I guess, as long as you get one of those teams in there. And then he moved Ole Miss out, so he does not have an ACC champion. He's also got SMU. Actually, he does have an ACC champion. He doesn't have a Big 12 champion. Shouldn't either. I would put Colorado in. I tell you something else. Will Kane's smarter than a lot of us. I would look at his, and before you laugh, understand Kane and I are probably the 2 smartest guys ever to walk the face of this earth. Just kidding. But anyway, good for Coach Holtz. Coach Holtz, though, I don't know, man. I know you got to put Notre Dame in front of Indiana, but here's the thing with Coach Holtz. He don't fool me. Coach Holtz likes when Notre Dame loses. Don't tell him I know that, but I do from some of his best friends. All right, unranked Kansas. This is a game I actually won this weekend. I took Kansas. I took them on the money line. They belly whomped. I know the game was close, but it was 17-13. BYU, they should have lost the previous week to Utah. Unranked New Mexico beat Washington State. Yeah, I don't care. Georgia, Georgia's got a bitch. Actually, Georgia's got a little bit of gripe. They do. They played a tough schedule. Indiana couldn't play that schedule. Well, I shouldn't say they couldn't. They haven't. I mean, Indiana absolutely 1,000% has the easiest schedule in the history of Big Ten football, and I'm here for it. Unranked Florida, he caused some problem with not Les Miles, with Brian Kelly. You know, everything Brian Kelly's always said is now popping up on X. Could you imagine if Mina Kimes or Sarah Spain or one of them little DEI hires had to face the vitriol that Brian Kelly does? Oh, my God, they'd be in the fetal position looking for something to squeeze, a cold towel, maybe a warm towel, and, oh, my God, where's my coloring book, my dog, and my crayons? Hey, Stanford wumped up on Louisville. I got to tell you about my boy, the Sack Man. We had money line action. We did on Florida and Stanford. We had a good Saturday. Sunday sucked, but we had a damn good Saturday. And I'm telling you, man, Urban Meyer came on my afternoon show in Indy, and he said, watch out. He loves Utah. Went undefeated at Utah. Kyle Whittingham was his assistant coach at Utah. He said, man, I'm telling you, this Colorado team is unbelievable right now. Clicking on all cylinders. They're coaching their ass off. They're getting better. That's why I put them in my top 4. I think they win the Big 12. Doesn't mean I'm right. Hey, this is Indiana week. We got shirts, and I'm not wearing them yet. But we got shirts, my LMB crew. See LMB right there? What it stands for, let's just say it stands for Love My Brother. We'll go that route. Anyway, we got a bus going over on Saturday to Ohio State. That's right. I own a school bus. Me, my brother, a couple other guys. Big Fat Bob, the Big Fat Bob, he's the driver. We're going to get in the bus at 6, not drink. I'm not. I'm going to try to take a nap till 8, and then probably open my first Schlitz. It'll be like college. Maybe a Stroh's, I don't know. I'm sure Aaron and Gary drank Little Kings when they were in high school. Maybe I'll bring a ceremonial Little King. All I know is this. We're going over to Columbus for the game of the year. Game day's going to be there. Big Noon's going to be there. Dakich is going to be there. Massive. Huge. Massive. Crazy. Anyway, Indiana football coach Curt Cignetti just signed an 8-year, $8 million a year deal. I was texting with the athletic director, Scotty D, congratulating him. Scotty D got it done, man. Now, a lot of Indiana people are saying, well, you know, we said the same thing about Tom Allen. We did. You're right. I can't argue that. Just feels different. You know what I'm saying? It just feels different. Anyway, Indiana football coach Curt Cignetti is putting the league on notice with his Hoosiers, telling telling the panel at Fox's Big Noon Kickoff that he's not going anywhere. Remember I told you Florida reached out last week? They did. He said no. Florida went and said, yeah, this guy Napier, he's going to be our coach. He signed a massive 8-year, $8 million a year at least deal to stay in Bloomington. Here's Cignetti, the coach of my Hoosiers.
We awoke to some big news from Bloomington this morning. You signed a new 8-year deal. Congratulations on that. Curious, though, what were some of the important elements that you wanted included in that extension?
Well, honestly, they came to me. They were very proactive. And, some people say, well, why would you do that when, this one may open, that one may open, and you're going to be a hot commodity and blah, blah, blah. And the fact of the matter is, we're the emerging superpower in college football. Why would I leave?
Tell me I'm wrong. Google him. Just Google him. Don't be laughing, Nick and Gary and Aaron and all you clowns behind the scenes that make fun of my football Hoosiers, or used to. They don't anymore. I don't think those guys did. I think Chad did. We are an emerging superpower, Aaron. We are an emerging superpower, Gritty. That's right. And I'm going to tell you something else. Mark my words. Indiana basketball is going undefeated this year. No more than 2 losses. But I would bet undefeated. If somebody put me, hey, are they going to go undefeated? I would put undefeated. Just tell it. I know last time I made a prediction like that, it was Kentucky. They got, to the national championship game and lost. Same thing out of Indiana. I don't think Indiana loses this year. I think Mike Woodson gets him an extension. He may not know the athletic director's name. I don't think he knows any of the players' name, but who cares? They got NIL money. They're willing to spend it. The team looks good. VIvek Ramaswamy, friend of the show, one of our favorites, says entire government agencies will be axed, chopped, done under DOGE, D-O-G-E. Cuts will be achieved through executive action. This is one of my favorite sound bites I've ever heard from a politician. Here he is.
So you're going to make recommendations in terms of where to cut after all that you've just said. Then what?
Look, we're not going to be cutting ribbons. We're going to be cutting costs. And so those recommendations are going to be on a real-time basis. But I do want to take a big step back and understand, for people to understand the scope of this problem. Over $500 billion that's spent every year right now was not even authorized by Congress in the first place. The Pentagon has just failed its 7th consecutive audit, nearly $1 trillion of budget. They can't even tell you where it goes. So I think part of this is exposing for the public the extent of that rot and waste, but then to take steps first through executive action and then laying the groundwork for broader change through legislation as well to rein in that deficit, to rein in that budget. And more crucially, Maria, I know we're talking about this in terms of efficiency, but there's something deeper going on here. This is about restoring self-governance and accountability in America as well.
Are you expecting to close down entire agencies, like President Trump has talked about the Department of Education, for example? Are you going to be closing down departments?
We expect mass reductions. We expect certain agencies to be deleted outright. We expect mass reductions in force in areas of the federal government that are bloated. We expect massive cuts among federal contractors and others who are overbilling the federal government. So, yes, we expect all of the above. And I think people will be surprised by, how quickly we're able to move with some of those changes, given the legal backdrop the Supreme Court has given us.
Why do I love that? Because I've told you all year that I do not like, first time ever, paying my taxes. I did not like my money going to illegal immigration. I did not like my money going to the war in the Ukraine. And those are the only two I know. My wife came up with a bunch of things the other day. Like, we're trying to figure out in Guam something, not Gahana something, I don't know, like whether cab drivers are relevant, something stupid. There's a whole list of stupid stuff. I love that clip because Ramaswamy says things very clearly. He isn't threatening, he's promising. He's just going to do a job that he had been assigned. And I'm down to clown, as my friend Jason Allen Hammer would say. It's great. We had a big fight weekend, by the way. My Netflix went out, so I just went to bed. What the hell? Anyway, it didn't go out. It just kept buffering. It said I had to be in the same room as my router, which was down here. I was in the sack. Anyway, Jon Bones Jones defeated Sip Miok via technical knockout Saturday night to hold on to his undisputed UFC. What's wrong with me? UFC World Heavyweight Championship belt, but quickly handed it off to the ringside President-elect Donald Trump after the victory. Here we go. Let's hear.
While everybody's cheering and so happy, I want to acknowledge Jesus Christ. I tell you what, man, I cannot take credit for a gift like this, man. I really owe it all to him. And I know that there's millions of people around the world watching right now. And I just want to let you guys know that Jesus loves you so much. I also want to say a big thank you to President Donald Trump for being here tonight. Oh, yeah! Trump, check it out. USA! USA! Let's go! I'm proud to be a great American champion. I'm proud to be a Christian American champion.
And the Democrats, according to Clay Travis, legit thought they could counter-program Trump's appeal with male voters with Tim Walz. That might be the most unintentionally funny move of 21st century politics. It really is. The more you saw Walz or his crazy-ass wife, the more you're like, wait a second, I think she's a beard. Come on. All this and bouncing around. I mean, did you really think you were going to appeal to anyone other than, you know what, show tune guy, Broadway star in musicals? Hello? Richard Simmons followers, lifers in the whole, I don't even know what that was, but you know what? I was on a roll, so I thought I'd stay with it. Yeah, that's true. I mean, Donald Trump's appeal is so masculine, it kind of, it kind of makes you ooze sweat and testosterone. Kind of makes you go, You know what I mean? Tim Walz makes you go, hey, man, I ain't walking in front of you. I certainly ain't bending over and picking up the soap. I'll give you that much. No chance. Hey, the NFL got done with, I don't even know what the hell week it was. Hey, the Colts are the greatest team in football. Shut up. No, they are. Shut up. What are you, a cop? No, Anthony Richardson accounted for over 300 yards. I don't even want to hear it. He's the greatest player in the NFL. They beat one of the most storied franchises, the Jets, in the NFL, and Richardson's magical. Hey, shouts, yo, to Shane Steichen, the head coach, for having to bench Richardson for being a child. That's why he benched him. Like, yo, you win in the NFL with adult males with the great American penis. You don't win with them by being children. So they told Richardson, look, you want to tap out, you want to be a child, sit your ass down. Figure it out. Thankfully for Richardson and probably Colts fans, Joe Flacco sucked. And when I mean sucked, I mean sucked. He wasn't very good. But anyway, long story short, Richardson was. And the Colts came back. Yeah, they did. They came back. Aaron Rodgers looks like he's 110 years old. Now, seriously, Aaron Rodgers looks terrible. Like Joe Namath with the 49ers or something. I don't know. He looks really, really bad. Hey, the Bills, well, there's no more undefeated. Raise a glass, Larry Zonka, and all of you still alive 73 Dolphins. You are the last team to go undefeated. 9-0 was the standard, 9-1 now. Bills look pretty good. Hey, I get a kick out of it. Isn't it pissing all these guys off in the media that two fat white guys are the best players in the NBA and a white quarterback's the best player in the NFL? It's got them crazy. I don't really care. They are, though. The Pack stunned the Bears on a blocked field goal attempt. Bears can't have nice things. See, here's the deal with the Bears. The Bears, well, they're always blaming people. It's always the coach. It's never a kicker who sucks, never a quarterback that sucks. It's always the coach. He didn't go for extra yards. How about the defensive backs that couldn't get a freaking Hail Mary down against the Washington Redskins, which just absolutely tanked their season? So a kicker kicks it low. Oh, you're supposed to go get extra yards. Really? And then when the guy fumbles, which is what seemingly is going to happen this Bears season, everybody bitches about that. Hey, your players suck. You suck. Move it along. And tell you who doesn't suck is Dan Campbell and the Lions, who come in here. They do. They come into the friendly confines of Gainbridge, I think next week, or Lucas Oil, whenever the hell it is. That's the Colts' next opponent. They won 52-6. There is no way. Peterson got the bump from following Urban when Urban straightened the place out in a very short time. I know you guys are impacted by the idiots in the media that didn't like Urban. I understand. But I know the reality. He changed the way they eat. He changed the way they train. They got him a building. They made him professional. They got rid of people in that organization that were content with losing. Peterson came in and got the residual of that for about a year. And then Doug Peterson has done Doug Peterson things. Be undisciplined. Be soft on players. When that happens, you get your ass beat. Rams hung on. People like Drake May. I watched some of it. I like Drake May. Nothing wrong with Drake May. Patriots stink. Dolphins down the Raiders, and Tyreek Hill was standing right in front of the coach, Antonio Pierce, mocking him. Interim head coach Darren Rizzi got his second win in a row as the Saints head coach. Why? Because he made Taysom Hill do everything. Throw passes, run the ball, catch passes. I mean, you name it. Return the ball. He said, screw it. I don't have a quarterback. I don't have anything about this team that I like. So I'm going to go back to a guy that I know is tough and I can rely on, Taysom Hill. I ain't mad about it. Hey, Chargers-Bengals, great last night. Boy, did Herbert look good in the first half and shitty in the second half. And Joe Burrow's a baller. He's got all these whiny-ass wide receivers. No wonder they can't win. Between T. Higgins and that Chase, yeah, I know they're talented, but they're a cancer. Never winning big with those idiots, at least not now, maybe when they grow up. Hey, Bo Nix over 400 yards of offense. Bo Nix, man, that's a bad boy. My boy Jonathan Smith, who is my kind of co-host, but certainly my producer on my afternoon show, said it early and often, 5.5. Take the Broncos. They just won their 6th game yesterday.